if I'm wrong, I don't know if you noticed in the catalogue, but there was a star beside a lot of the products. And you would have a lot of starter products here. And the reason they're starter is they're in the Super Starter Kit. You seem to like the Pampered Chef products. You keep coming back time and time again. You talk about them with great enthusiasm when you're here. And then you spend money buying more, which is fantastic. And obviously our hosts would be delighted. Sarah, would you ever have a think about maybe trying on the apron and even seeing if this could fit for you or work for you?
Probably never been something I've thought about before.
Okay. Well, do you know something? It's very busy here tonight. All I would say, why don't we get together for a coffee? Do you fancy meeting for a cup of coffee? Get me in a good mood and I'll buy you Danish. And you know, if you keep it light and frivolous, it's not a big deal meeting for a coffee. You know, we also do things as well called a business-led bear. And if it's always worth knowing when the next business-led bear is. Mine, I'm doing one on Wednesday night here. And it's an opportunity for you as new consultants to bring along people you meet at your shows who are interested in finding out more. Morven does them as well up in Fife. So, you know, you could say, do you know, sir, there's quite often we meet people like yourself who are interested in finding out a little bit more and before making any kind of a decision. We have these monthly kind of get-togethers. They're just over a cup of coffee and a bit of home bacon at my friend Sharon's house. And, you know, the next one is on, and I would say if it's within a week or 10 days, the next one is on then. Would you like to come along maybe? And the joy of these, there'll be other people there who are asking similar questions. May I ask a question you hadn't thought of? Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah. So.
All right. Okay, great. Okay, so does that give you an idea how to...
I think these business-led beer evenings are going to be really useful to encourage people to come and look at the business and have a real good feel for.
Some people don't like the one-to-one coffees because they feel they're under pressure to sign. The business-led beer, it literally is a relaxed, informal coffee evening here at my house. Cup of tea, bit of home bacon. If I haven't been able to get home bacon, you're getting something from the kids' biscuit box. Jammy Dodgers usually. And the joy of it, the relaxed, loads of people ask questions. There's usually 3 or 4 people here each month, and a chance to listen to other people as well and their stories.
So bring their own rocks.
Yeah, because they're the ones that'll go home and have to try and convince. Okay, so Emma comes up, say for example, moving on, and now Emma has taken a maybe about hosting a show, and has basically 2 products that she's scored out on her order form. Okay, so she's putting something down, drew a line through it. Putting something down, drew a line through it. Okay, so Emma, thank you for coming along tonight. Thanks for your order. Now the rest will be ready hopefully soon enough. You get a chance to sample that. It's smelling good just now. It's one of my favourites. I can't help but notice that you were swithering, were you, about the rectangular baker?
Well, I think I might like to host a show and get my rectangular baker.
Right, I was trying to have to work on it. You're being dead easy. But now sometimes you will people who'll come up to you and say, actually, I'm really keen to host a show, so I'm going to wait and get those at my show. Is that okay? You go, yeah.
It's a bit much. I did fancy it, but changed my mind.
Okay, well, do you know what I find? Do you know what I love about this job, though? Is the fact that we get to give our hosts lots of free products. An average host of mine gets £80 to £100 worth of her own choosing. Now, I can't help but notice there's the rectangular baker you scored out. What I would say to you is the host gift for the month of February is actually the square baker, slightly smaller, but it is the square baker. So, you know, simply by getting, let's say, 15 friends together and buying a small bag of ingredients, usually kind of about 7-8 quid, I'll come along and do a recipe, and hopefully we could look to get you that for free, and then you get to pick some more stoner as well on top of that. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds very good.
Yeah? Okay. Well, just looking here at my bookings board, I can see that what would suit you best? Kind of midweek or evening or weekend?
A Thursday.
A Thursday. Okay. Well, I'm just looking here and offer the first available Thursday you have. Well, I could do the 7th. Okay, will that work? Now, some people, the 7th of February, that's quite close, isn't it?
Maybe the week after.
Okay. Well, I would point out to you and say to you, right, the 14th, do you really want to set February the 14th? It's your choice. But my husband might feel about it. But you know, the joy of a show close in is the fact that people know what they're doing in 2 weeks' time. If you say to them, I'm having a Pampered Chef show in a couple of months, they might give you a fairly non-committal answer, but they'll know what they're doing probably in 2 weeks' time. I quite often find that you get really good turnouts for what we call a close-in booking, and that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, conversely, I originally had a show booked for the 21st of February. Told all my chums about it, and they were like, oh, it's in the diary. And now that I've brought it forward, because I've taken up consultancy, then half a dozen of them can't make it.
But no matter what night you pick, you will always have you will always have.
Yeah.
But I absolutely were going to be there on the 21st of February. I'm going to be there on the 24th of
just have a show on the 21st of February.
Well, I'm kind of thinking about having a second show.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. You can have one a month if you want. It's your choice.
Thank you.
Okay. So does that give you an idea of how to talk to somebody with regard to hosting a show? So it's not just a question of them coming up and saying, right, okay, well, you've got the batter bowl, lovely, adjustable spoons, measuring spoons, right, okay, excellent, and you've got a silicone scraper, great, okay. There you go, there's your receipt, there's your copy, off you go. Right. Give them good service, talk to them about what they've ordered, say to them, you know, oh, would you like a copy of tonight's recipe, can I email that to you? And just say, give them a little other tips about what they've ordered, or say, well, I don't have that myself, but I have my friend who says she really, really likes that mix and masher, so good choice, yeah, really, really good. She says she's fantastic for couscous, fluffing off your couscous. But they love a little individual thing, and that's how they will remember you, okay? Yeah? And even if they say, take no's to everything, I went to my first show and said, no, I didn't want a show, because I was 8 months pregnant. No, I wasn't interested in the business, because I was 8 months pregnant. And no, I wasn't interested in the fundraising. People might say, no, I'm not interested in hosting a show because they're in, you know, a massive kitchen, open plan, living space. They've only got a pokey wee kitchen. But they might have a big sitting room. But unless you ask the question, oh, you seem really enthusiastic when I was talking about the cocktail shows, I thought you'd go for something like that. Oh no, I can't, the kitchen's tiny. Well, you don't need to be in the kitchen. But unless you have a conversation about them, about it with them, you're not going to know. So always do ask them about, have a conversation with them. Because again, it's down to good customer service. If you think, when you're out and about, go and look for good customer service that is given to you as a customer, as a consumer, okay? What's good about it? The fact they interact with you. They try and, you know, use as an individual, not just as another punter who's going through the ropes, yeah? So if you really seriously just discuss their order with them and look out there for them. And it's simple as saying, oh, Sarah, I see you've ticked no's for hosting a show and the fundraising. Can I just check, you know, is there any particular reason you don't feel that's for you?
Well, just I've never really had a party like that in my house before, or hosted anything like that before.
Do you know something, Sarah? I hear that a lot in the pantry chef. Quite often, there's so many people who say, I wouldn't host any other kind of planned parties, but they just simply enjoy food and enjoy having family around and friends and family around to share food. And that's really what it's all about. Do you think maybe this could be something you might think about at a later point? Yeah? Okay. Well, what we could do just now, if you wanted to, and this is under no pressure, we could have a look and see if there was a date. You could go pencil in a date, speak to friends and family and see if they're interested, and then move forward from there. How would that sound?
Yeah, no, I know.
Some people that no, I'd like to think about it, I might leave it just now, is absolutely fine to actually say to them, would it be okay if I gave you a call in a month or two to see how you're getting on? Even just to check in and see how you're getting on with your order and your products. Are you happy with that? Yeah? And then write down, I would have a space in the top going, call in March, ref, possible show. I'd say I'm putting 2 question marks here because that means, that's my notation to me that you're not sure whether or not you want to go ahead with that. So that's what I know. And then you give her a copy, and on her piece of paper is the fact that you're going to call her in March. Okay? Then you go home, when you go through your order forms, you write down, call Sarah in February, possible March show. And then you put it in by a month, because they'll have forgotten. Alright?
And if they say it's like the 4th of March, you can say I'll keep it in.
No, in 8 years they've never said it. If they say, oh, I thought you were phoning March, say, oh, I thought I was phoning about March.
Yeah.
So how are you getting on with your products? Then just glide right over it.
Yeah.
At this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, that's all well and good for her. The words just fall out of her mouth. They trip off her tongue. Why do you think that is? when I decided to, like I was, we saw this fantastic lady called Sharon Zellen at the weekend, an American lady, and I've spent so much day trying to practice some of her word choices, which I really, really liked. And I was like, look at somebody else's teeth in. So when I try new words, I still, because I wanted to do some of them tonight and I failed miserably, I have to say. But you have, if you try things out, if that's the joy of this, is you can mould it and shape it till you get into something, your own groove, and find words that you like, okay? But if you find simple things, that if you nod subtly while you're talking to somebody, when you want a positive response, some of you actually kind of just gently nod. You're gently nod back to me. It's very hard to say no to somebody when they're doing that to you, okay? Always kind of keep it in the positive. I've heard people say, I don't suppose you want to book a show, do you? No. Who the heck mind is going to go, actually, yes, I do. So, think about your word choices. How are you positioning it? Who here has children? You've got kids, yeah? Yeah? You've got kids? No? No? Right. Say, for example, right, an elderly grandparent then, okay? You're trying to get someone out the door, right? You don't care what they're wearing, as long as they're putting on something warm. So instead of saying, will you put your coat on? Let's say, you've got your red coat or your blue coat. Which one do you want? Now, I don't care what the answer is. I just want something warm on the child and get them out the door. So the same principles apply here in the sense of by saying to somebody, oh, I see you've ticked a maybe about hosting. Which tickles your fancy more, the chocolate theme night or the cocktails night? I don't care what you pick, but I'm opening up a conversation. It's not a yes or no answer. It's a discussion-based answer, isn't it? Do you see the difference? So if you talk about the theme shows and then say, oh, which one tickled your fancy? Oh, which one did? Maybe the cocktails would suit my friends more, actually. They're more like that. So then you can, and then again by saying to somebody, what suits you best, start of the week or end of the week? Oh, start of the week. Oh, well, let's start of the week, please. So they're what we call open-ended questions, as opposed to, do you want to book a show? That's a kind of a yes or no answer. Try to find out more about the business. Seriously, if you think, I'm a massive believer there are 3 things that make you successful in Pamper Chef. Consistency, so whatever you do it consistently. Remember I was saying to you last week, whatever time you want to give it the same time each week. Be persistent, don't throw the towel at the first hurdle. You've already made the biggest hurdle, which is signing the form and getting the kit. I know you're waiting on your kit. But the biggest hurdle. So be persistent, and that's not about hounding people or being pushy or anything like that. It's just being persistent in the fact that if you said to somebody, phone me in March, phone them in March. Okay? Don't, when somebody says, no, not interested in anything. Persistence means just actually say to them, do you mind my asking, you seem so enthusiastic about stoneware. I thought you might be a candidate for a February show to get some free stoneware. Do you mind me asking, is there anything that you feel is holding you back? A great word choice, it's a Marvin Barry one. What are your reservations? I see you've ticked no about hosting. What are your reservations, if you don't mind me asking? Just out of curiosity, what are your reservations? Seriously, it's just so relaxed and in your face, and if you're smiling when you say it, they won't see it as pushy. Oh, well, I really don't feel I know that many friends. Look, there's 20, 25 people here tonight, and I just don't know that many people. But that's fine. Do you know something? We have shows of 8 or 10 people as well. Absolutely fine. Oh, do you? All right, well then I might think about it. Or you could say if somebody goes, oh no, I don't, my husband doesn't like me having people around to the house. Chuck the husband. Just say, well, have you thought about co-hosting? I know you're here with your friend Susie. The 2 of you could get together and maybe co-host in Susie's house. Does that sound like something you might be interested in? Okay? So do you get what I mean about kind of word choices all the time? This is something, with practice, gets easier and easier and easier, and the more shows you go out and observe, the more order times you listen to, the better.
If you go on YouTube as well, I've done this at the weekends, it's sat up till 2:30 in the morning, watching cooking shows on YouTube.
There is bucket loads of them. Look up.
Oh really?
Yeah, look up a lady called Gillian Grant.
That's who I want.
Yeah. She is fantastic. Gillian with a J. Jillian Grant. I met her in Miami.
Yeah,
she was brilliant. And Sharon Zellen as well. I've seen a couple of her things as well.
No, I'm saying I need to go on
Facebook. I need to go on.
No, I'm saying I tagged Sat out and said on to Gillian Grant's earlier. Yeah. I'm terrible for not checking my Facebook and stuff, so I need to make sure
Don't start watching it too late at night though, because I was up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning watching.
Okay.
Yeah,
has that been useful? Listen to word choices all the time. Seriously, what it boils down to is this. Say they're at your Pampered Chef show this week. They get invited to another one in 2 weeks' time. You give them fantastic customer service, you discuss their order with them, you have a bit of a chat, a bit of banter. You don't have to be Billy Connolly, you don't have to be the funniest thing on wheels, but just a bit of banter, a bit of chat with them. And then they'll go away, right? A month later, or 2 weeks later, whatever, they go to another show. Some other lady goes, right, okay, there's your order form, there's your change, there's your receipt, cheerio, good luck, goodbye. They go home, they might have, because you did a good job at your show, they might have gone away, thought about it, but a big order in at the other show, right? And then thought, actually I want to get more stoner, another month later. Who are they going to remember? Who are they going to phone? You, because you've given them better customer service. Okay? On that note, I'm going to stop my recording.